The studio lights blazed down, casting a golden sheen across the polished set of the Kelly Clarkson show. The audience buzzed with energy, their applause still echoing after Kelly's warm opening. Across from her sat Miranda Lambert, legs crossed, her trademark cowboy boots gleaming under the stage lights. Her smile was practiced, polite, but in her eyes there was a sharpness, like steel carefully hidden beneath velvet. Kelly leaned in, her grin as effortless as ever, though her posture betrayed an instinctive alertness. "Thanks for being here, Miranda," she began, her Texas drawl softening the edges of her words. "You've got a new album coming out, Wildfire. I've got to say, it's raw, it's real, it's everything we love about you. But I want to start with something else. Your fans are dying to know. What's the story behind the lead single, Burn It Down? It's fiery, it's edgy. Sounds like you're settling a score." Miranda's lips twitched, not quite a smile. She brushed her fingers along the fringe of her leather jacket. "Well, Kelly, you know how it goes. Sometimes life hands you a match, and you just gotta strike it. That song's about taking control, owning your truth. It's not about anyone in particular, if that's what you're digging for." The audience chuckled, but Kelly's eyes narrowed slightly at the deflection. "Come on now," she teased, leaning closer. "You don't write a line like, 'I'll burn it down and dance in the ashes,' without someone in mind. Is this about heartbreak? A feud? Maybe a little Nashville drama? Give us a hint." Miranda's jaw tightened. Her smile faded. "I don't do hints, Kelly. I write what I feel. I let the music speak. People can read into it however they want. But I'm not here to spill tea for clicks." A soft ooh rippled through the crowd, sensing the shift. Kelly tilted her head, her smile intact, but her tone sharpening. "Fair enough. But you've never been shy about calling it like it is. Your last album had folks talking about shade towards certain exes. Are you saying Wildfire is just vibes? No story behind it?" Miranda uncrossed her legs, boots thudding onto the studio floor. Her voice was steady, edged with steel. "I don't owe anyone a play-by-play of my life. That song's about standing tall, not about some soap opera you're trying to spin. And you should understand that better than anyone. You've written your own heartbreak anthems." Kelly arched a brow, unshaken. "Oh, I get it. I've written through the pain. But when I put out Since You've Been Gone, I didn't hide what it was about. You're telling me Burn It Down isn't about someone who wronged you? Not even a little." The crowd leaned forward. The tension was electric. Miranda leaned in too, her voice low, deliberate. "You want to talk about being wronged? Fine. Let's talk about how people twist your words, how they turn a song into a headline. I'm tired of folks like you. Yeah, you, Kelly, pushing me to say something I didn't come here to say. I came to talk about my music, not to be your tabloid bait." Kelly's smile faltered for a beat, but she caught herself, her voice still warm, yet edged. "Whoa, hold up. I'm only asking what the fans are asking. You're a storyteller. People connect to the stories. You can't blame me for wanting to know what's behind the fire in that song." Miranda's voice rose just enough to carry. "Wait, fans connect to the music, not some made-up drama you're trying to stir. I don't need to air out my laundry to sell records. Maybe that works for some, but that ain't me." The audience fell silent. The tension in the room was thick. Kelly leaned back, folding her arms, her smile gone. "Okay, Miranda, I hear you. Let's pivot. Your album carries a theme of empowerment, right? No nonsense. Taking charge. Is that why you've been so outspoken about the industry lately? Calling out the gatekeepers? That's a story worth telling." Miranda let out, a dry laugh, her eyes narrowing. "You're doing it again, Kelly. You want a soundbite, something that'll make your show trend. I'm not here to give you that. I'm here for my art. But you keep digging, like I'm supposed to spill my guts just to make you look good. This time." Kelly's grin vanished completely, replaced with a steely stare. "Miranda, I'm not the enemy. I've always been a fan of your work. But when you sit here, you know we're going to talk real. That's what this show is. If you're not ready to go there, that's fine. But don't make it sound like I'm twisting your arm." A gasp rippled through the audience. The line had been crossed. Miranda's voice dropped into a chilling calm. "Real. You want real? Here it is. I'm sick of shows like this pretending to be my friend, acting like you care about my story, when all you really want is a viral clip. That's not real, Kelly. That's a game, and I'm not playing." Before Kelly could reply, Miranda pushed back her chair, the scrape echoing through the hushed studio. Gasps and murmurs erupted as she stood, boots clicking against the stage. "I didn't sign up for this," she said, loud enough for the mics to catch. "I'm out." The audience erupted, some clapping, others whispering in disbelief. Kelly raised a hand, trying to steady the chaos. "Miranda, come on. Let's talk this through. We're just getting started." But Miranda was already striding toward the wings. Without a glance back, she disappeared behind the curtain, leaving Kelly frozen in her chair, her face caught between shock and frustration. The cameras found her again. She straightened, forcing a smile, the consummate professional ready to pivot. The smile held, but the moment hung heavy in the air. Unmistakable, unforgettable. But her eyes betrayed a flicker of unease as the audience's murmur swelled into a chaotic hum that filled the studio. She leaned forward, clasping her hands tightly as if anchoring herself to the moment. "Well, folks," she said with a steadiness that didn't quite hide the strain, "that was unexpected. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back to unpack what just went down." The cameras cut to commercial, but the tension hung in the air like smoke. The audience whispered, twisting in their seats to glance toward the wings where Miranda had disappeared. When the show returned, Kelly sat poised in her chair. Her posture was relaxed, but her expression more guarded. The set suddenly felt smaller, the empty chair across from her, a glaring reminder of the confrontation. She looked directly into the camera, her voice warm but deliberate. "All right, y'all. We're back. That was a moment, wasn't it? And I want to be real with you. Sometimes conversations get heated when you're talking about passion, music, and life. Miranda is an incredible artist, and I respect her fire. So let's talk about that fire. Her new album, Wildfire, is coming soon, and it's packed with that same intensity." She paused, then turned to the audience. "But before we move on, I want to hear from you. What do you think just happened?" The camera panned to a woman in the front row. She twisted the microphone in her hands, her voice hesitant, but clear. "I think Miranda felt cornered," she said. "You were pushing her, Kelly, and she wasn't having it. But I get why you asked those questions. Fans want to know the stories behind the songs." Kelly pressed her lips into a thin line, nodding slowly. "I hear you. And yeah, I push. Because I love the stories behind the music. It's what connects us. But maybe this time, I pushed too hard." She glanced at the crowd again. "Let's keep it moving. What's the vibe you get from Burn It Down? Anyone else?" A man in a plaid shirt stood. His voice was steady, thoughtful. "Miranda's always been about keeping it real. I think she was protecting her truth. You kept digging, and it felt like you wanted her to say something juicy for the headlines." Kelly tilted her head, her smile small but genuine. Fair point. I'm a fan first. But I'm also a host. My job is to ask the questions y'all want answers to. Sometimes that means getting into the messy stuff. But let's talk about the music. Burn it down. What's it saying to you? The conversation shifted. Audience members offered their takes on the song's defiance, its raw energy. Kelly responded warmly, but her eyes flicked back to the empty chair, her mind clearly elsewhere. After a beat, her voice dropped slightly, confessional. You know, I've been in this business a long time. I've written songs that cut deep, songs that came from pain, and I know what it's like to have people poke at those wounds. Maybe Miranda's right. Maybe we do turn stories into headlines too fast. The audience murmured in quiet agreement. Some clapped softly. Kelly inhaled, steadying herself. All right. Let's reset. Wildfire is a powerful record. Miranda poured herself into it. And even though she's not here to walk us through it, we can feel her truth in every note. Who here has heard the single already? A young woman raised her hand, her voice bright but thoughtful. It's like she's saying, I'm done taking crap. She's not just burning bridges, she's burning down anything holding her back. I felt that in my soul. Kelly's grin returned, softer this time. Exactly. That's what makes her music so powerful. It's not about drama. It's about the fight. And trust me, I get that fight. I've had my own battles, on stage and off. Maybe that's why I pushed her. I see that fire in her, and I wanted to know where it came from. The audience nodded, leaning in. Kelly's tone shifted to something more intimate. Look, I didn't want this to be a showdown. I'm a fan of Miranda's, always have been. But when someone's been through the ringer, divorce rumors, industry politics, you can't help but wonder what fuels art that strong. Maybe I went about it the wrong way. The studio was quiet now, hanging on her words. Kelly's eyes softened as she gestured toward the empty chair. I wish she'd stayed. We could have had a real conversation. Not headlines, not gossip. Just two women talking about what it means to stand tall in this business. But I get it. Sometimes you've got to walk away to protect your peace. The show carried on. Kelly steered the dialogue toward Miranda's career, her resilience, her refusal to be boxed in. But the shadow of the walk-off lingered. The audience, still buzzing with the echo of boots clicking against the stage. As the segment wound down, Kelly leaned forward, her smile warm but tinged with reflection. All right, y'all. We're not done yet. We're going to keep celebrating Wildfire and what makes Miranda Lambert such a force. And who knows? Maybe one day she'll come back and finish this conversation. The lights dimmed slightly, signaling the close. Kelly held her smile, authentic, but waited. The empty chair remained, a silent testament to the storm that had just passed. Kelly's Texas drawl wrapped around the words like a melody she'd sung 1,000 times. It's that fire, she said. That refusal to be anything but herself. And yeah, we hit a rough patch earlier, but that's what happens when two people care this much about what they do. It gets real, it gets messy, and sometimes it means someone walks away. I respect that, the audience nodded, a few clapping softly, their energy caught between admiration and curiosity. Kelly's eyes flicked to the camera, open but steady. Let's talk about one more track from Wildfire. There's this song, No Apologies, and I think it sums up Miranda's whole vibe right now. It's not about saying sorry for who you are. It's about owning every scar, every choice. I listened to it last night and it hit me hard. So let's dive into that. What do y'all think that song's saying to the world? A man in the second row took the mic, his voice steady but charged. It's like Miranda's drawing a line in the sand. She's saying, "This is me. Take it or leave it." I think that's why she got so heated earlier. You were asking her to explain. Herself, Kelly, and that song feels like her saying she doesn't owe anyone an explanation. Kelly tilted her head, lips curving into a thoughtful smile. You're not wrong. I heard that song and thought, this woman's done justifying. Maybe that's where I missed the depth. I'm used to digging in, finding the heart of things, but Miranda's already laid it all out in her music. Maybe I should have let that speak for itself. The crowd murmured in agreement, leaning closer to her words. A woman in a denim jacket stood and spoke clearly. I think Miranda walked off because she felt like you were trying to make her story fit your show's narrative. No apologies is her saying she's done with that. She's not here for the drama, like she said. Kelly nodded, her gaze locking with the woman's. I hear you. And I've been on the other side of that. People trying to box me into a story that wasn't mine. I've had my own moments of walking away, at least metaphorically. So I get why she needed to draw that line. But as a host, I'm always going to ask the questions that spark something real. Sometimes that means stepping on toes. The audience applauded, appreciating her candor. Kelly leaned back, her voice softer now, reflective. Here's the thing about no apologies. It's not just about Miranda. It's about all of us who've ever had to stand up and say, this is who I am. Deal with it. That's why her music hits. It's not just country. It's universal. And I wish we could have talked more about that today. Just her and me. No pressure. No headlines. The room hushed, hanging on her words. Kelly's gaze drifted toward the empty chair again. She let out a small laugh, shaking her head. You? No, I've had a lot of guests on this couch, and every one of them brings something different. Miranda brought fire, and I respect that. I hope she knows this show's always a place for her to come back and talk music. No strings attached. Applause erupted, some in the crowd cheering, others nodding. Kelly grinned, her warmth returning, in full. All right, y'all. Before we wrap, let's give it up for Miranda Lambert and Wildfire. That album's gonna shake things up, and I can't wait to see what she does next. Now let's keep this conversation going. What's your favorite track from the album so far? Or, if you haven't heard it yet, what's the one thing you love most about Miranda's music? The camera swept across the crowd, catching smiles and raised hands as the energy lifted toward the finale. Kelly stood, hands on her hips, her voice bright, but still carrying a shadow of the earlier clash. This has been a wild one, folks. Thanks for riding it out with me. I'm Kelly Clarkson, and I'll see you next time. The theme music swelled, the credits rolled, and the audience clapped, buzzing with the weight of what they'd just witnessed. Kelly waved, her smile genuine, but her eyes still holding a trace of the fire that had sparked earlier. The empty chair remained, a silent echo of the moment that defined the show. Before I go, Kelly added, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. What do you think sparked the fire between Miranda and me today? Let's talk about it in the comments.